Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Earth is Just So Ghetto podcast because
Mm-mm-mm.
this week, child, oh my God, and we gonna talk about it. Yes, we are. I am Sydney. My pronouns are they, them, and my amazing co-host.
I am Aaron, and my pronouns are they, them. Uh, Welcome to the show, y'all. We got some things to get into, and we have a very, very special guest.
Yes, indeed. Please, everybody, welcome Malcolm. Go ahead and give
Hey,
us your name, your pronouns, and all that good.
so I'm Malcolm. I live in Colorado. I am gay, so just gay. He, that's all I go by. And yeah.
Yay! I'm so glad that you are here. And Malcolm gonna try and be shy or whatever, but Malcolm been riding with us since the beginning. Okay, I just need y'all to know. Listening to us when we was just faceless, nameless bitches on stereo, trying to fight the hoteps and the white supremacists all on our own. Okay. Um, but first and foremost, let's go ahead and get into this mental health check-in. First and foremost, I will just start with myself because every time I start with Aaron never forget me. Just one time, just let's just move on to the rest of the conversation. Aaron just like, no, but what about you, bitch? Okay, fine. Um,
And
it's
Will.
still, I know
Mm-hmm.
every time, I know, whatever. But anyways, it still sucks, right? The sky is still falling. I am still chicken little. Things are still like just the fuck outside. But for some reason, I feel like kind of happy. Like I'm feeling happy with my friends. I'm feeling happy with
Mm-hmm.
the things I'm trying to do now. Trying to get the fuck out of this country. Okay, which we gonna talk about with Malcolm in
You
a second.
better.
But we,
I heard
I'm
that.
just, I don't know. It's like even though the world is falling down around me, I'm feeling really happy in my community. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Aaron, go ahead. How you feeling, child?
Same old, like, it's cute, but like I say all the time, if the world was to end, I wouldn't be too mad at it. Because, I mean, that is what it is. But for us to live in this fucked up world that we're in,
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeling pretty cute. I would say that it's giving very much like a C plus.
Mm-hmm.
Not a C plus. Okay, Malcolm, how you been feeling? Because I know it's been crazy.
So I'm doing good. I was just telling Aaron I would just move back into my parents' house. Yay, me. Snaps for me. Because of my mental health. I lived in Arizona for about 2 years right after the height of the pandemic. And I was like, oh yeah, I can make it. I'll be good. And I had one friend. Everybody was fake out there. So I was like, and then just, the dominoes started falling. So I said, let me go ahead and come on back. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling secure. I'm feeling safe.
That's the
So,
point. That's the point for
mm-hmm,
you to feel secure, especially for Black queer people. You need to remember that our existence is already a protest. So be
mm-hmm,
happy. Be
mm-hmm,
happy.
exactly, exactly.
Oh my goodness, but I really want to go ahead and jump directly into this interview. You know, Malcolm don't want to brag on himself, but they are very well traveled, very well educated, and still walking through this world as a Black queer man. And I really want to get into it. So Aaron and I are gonna go a little back and forth on
Hmm.
questions. Don't feel overwhelmed now. It's okay.
Okay.
Um, my first question is, what has been your experience with international travel as a black queer man? Like, how did that even come
Mm.
up? What like I need to know.
So for me, I guess I just was like, I was always more concerned about my blackness than my gayness. But I guess because people have these stereotypes, it was kind of like a breath of, like, kind of a new energy that people experience. And for me personally, I felt more welcomed and more accepted outside of this country and respected as just a human being, as an American human being, than I do in this country. And so it just was a whole new, like, experience on how I felt with myself and about who I am, my upbringing, everything. And it really opened my eyes to really kind of open up my mind even more. I already thought, oh, I'm open-minded, I know everything, I'm out of the box, but it opened it up even more. So, oh
Yeah,
no.
I,
period. Um, and the question I have for you,
Mm-hmm.
being a Black gay man, what is your experience, or have you had any experiences with rather like internalized homophobia or femphobia from
Mm,
straight Black people or even Black queer people? Have you ever had any experiences
yeah,
with that?
yeah, definitely. So, I live in I'll say I grew up in a more predominantly white area, but it was pretty diverse. It's like a military town too. So it's diverse in both ways, but it was majority white. And people would say like, oh, things like, oh, you're not like those Black people. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? And my parents were very, especially back in the 90s, very pro-Black. My name's Malcolm. My little brother's name is Martin. So
Mm,
my parents were very into that. So I kind of had security within myself. But when it came to me as a Black male and going into especially middle school and interacting with other young Black boys that were my age, but they didn't have the same background as I. My dad's in the military, my mom's in education. So I don't know. It's raining, so I don't know if it's too loud, but okay. But so that really I kind of was exposed to Black men who was about their shit and working professional or even blue collar. Like my granddaddy would build everything from scratch. Um, but then also my other granddad, my dad's dad, wasn't shit. So I had both examples of how Black men are, was more than what society wants to box us to be. So when I interacted with these guys, they were like, "You're not who you act weird, you act this way," and I'm thinking, what does that even mean, And especially when I started to go, learn more about myself. I grew up in a Christian home, so I wasn't exposed to gayness at all. But when I started discovering it in high school and seeing what it was about and seeing why I had these feelings, it wasn't just sexual feelings for boys, but it was also like more lovey, weird connection feelings that I had with girls, but it wasn't the same feeling. And so when
mm.
I started to explore that, um, I feel like I'm going on a long ass,
No, you good.
but
You good.
okay.
no,
it's
not at all. We want the story. Please continue.
okay.
That's the point.
But
Why are
I
you here?
feel like, yeah. So I feel like when I did kind of start knowing more and like branching out and saying like, yeah, just because these guys act this way and that's how they think that you're supposed to be, that's not how you're supposed to be. And I've always been on the mind track of anything that I call it American propaganda, just the media, television, everything. Um, I do the opposite. So they want to see somebody as aggressive, a Black guy as aggressive, masculine, all this, all these things. I'm going to do the opposite. I was always soft spoken, kind hearted, all those things. So I always wanted to be opposite, just because I wanted to be an individual. Like I thought everybody else thought, like. And so when I was dealing with who I was and interacting with boys who were like, "Oh, you're not Black," I'm like, first of all, aren't you biracial? No shade. I love everybody. I love everybody. And I will accept you, whatever. But come on now, you know. So those type of things, I kind of just dealt with it in a different way than other people did because I feel like for me, I knew that I wasn't going to be that masculine guy. I knew that I wasn't going to even pretend. So I even didn't even pretend. So a lot of my friends, like I just went out to a high school friend, we've been friends for years, to her birthday party. And she didn't even ask me if I was gay. She let me come out to her because she knew, but she just wanted to give me my own time to come out to her. And she really was like, yeah, I knew you weren't like other guys, but I just wanted, that friendship. And so I luckily was surrounded by people who gave me the space to be who I was and not be someone who is seen on TV or, you know, whatever, all that, those other things. So it was it was a lot, but I got through it. So
Period.
yeah.
Awesome. Okay. And then also, just to go ahead and piggyback off of that a little bit, do you ever, because I know you were saying you were trying to kind of do the opposite of what was
Mhm.
being kind of displayed to you. And in a
Yeah.
lot of ways, you were kind of the opposite of what was being displayed.
Yeah.
How do
Mhm.
you handle anger, knowing that in this world as a man,
Mhm.
you know, they are looking, and a Black man, they are looking for the anger, they're looking for the upset. So how do you actually give yourself space to be angry when you're upset?
Mhm. Mhm. You know, that's kind of a tricky one. It depends on what state I'm in. Not state as in states, but what type of mood I am, how I'm feeling. For me, I have always been a person who's been like cheerful, happy, hasn't had to be angry about a lot. I'm not gonna lie and say I had a bad life. I didn't have a bad life, but I have had my struggles. And so what I've had to do to manage a lot of my anger was to really meditate on it and dissect why I felt that way about that certain thing. When I was mentioning states, like my like how I was feeling when I went into college, um, and I started drinking. Um, and I remember my friends, white friends, would start goading me on to get a reaction out of me. And so every time I would
Mm.
get drunk, I would get angry. I would start punching stuff. I would start doing crazy stuff. And then my roommate at the time was like, "You always get angry when you're drunk. Why do you do that?" And I said, "I don't even know." And so I just had to sit down with myself one day, sober, right? And decompartmentalize all the things that I had that were inside internally that I tried to suppress and
Mm.
not, because they always say, you know, drunken lies, something truth or whatever they say. But
Mm-hmm.
I had to I really had to pick it apart and see, okay, why am I that like that? And I still, at that time when I was going into college, I still wasn't fully okay with my gayness of me being gay or accepting who I was. And so I had to really discover why that I felt that way. And so when I did kind of, you know, dissect all of those things, that's when I was like, okay, I need to manage this anger in a completely different way because I'm not going to give, even if they're my friends, the so-called satisfaction of getting that reaction, you know. And so I just choose to only allow myself a short amount of time to be angry about something and I let it go. Because I realize that if I hold that anger inside, it's going to explode out in so many inappropriate ways, in ways that I don't want to be seen as. Because everybody, you know, wants to be, at least I think people want to be seen as person who's personable, nice, whatever. But there are those times, especially if you're Black, if you just come in with the wrong face, people are like, "Are you okay? What's wrong?" Like, and that kind of thing is just like, okay, I'm not gonna give anyone the privilege of seeing me in a state and being in a character that I'm not. And I realized in America, I had a lot of like issues that I didn't internally fix until I got back. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I need to really get decompartmentalize these things because the person I was abroad was myself, who I really am, happy, cheerful. I don't have to be angry. I don't have to be overthinking everything, even though I didn't even know the language. But here, it's like you're back in that America. You gotta overthink. How am I in the store? How am I here? How am I being, you know? And we shouldn't have to think like that. It shouldn't have to be like that. So
It definitely really shouldn't.
yeah.
The next question is, what was the location or what is the location that you feel is the safest as a Black queer man?
In
Ooh.
as in the world
Or just from
Yes.
where you've
or
been.
Oh,
just
yeah,
where I've
that
been?
too. Yeah.
Okay. I honestly personally felt really safe in the Bogota, which is like the capital city of Colombia. I felt really safe. Um,
Sydney, write that
I
down.
yeah,
For
I
real,
feel
I
like,
feel
oh
like
yeah,
Colombia.
definitely go. Definitely South America, any of those, because I went around a couple places in South America. Any of those places, you'll feel more welcomed or more like it's okay to be Black, whatever form you come in, you know.
Mm.
So I felt really safe in that city. I felt safe in Medellin, which is like one of the more popular cities that people go to. And Cartagena too, which is like the coastal place. And that's really touristy, but it's also really cool. So I felt really safe there. And I feel safe, i.e. in America. I feel like I do feel safer in my hometown of Colorado Springs. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying we haven't had our racial issues. I'm not saying the cops ain't out here doing stuff. I'm not saying any of that, but I'm saying that I feel as my life has gone on, in my experience, my own anecdotal experience, I feel pretty safe. But I'm not saying it's no safe haven because there was a shooting at the one gay bar we have here. So I'm not
Yeah.
saying it's like
Jesse,
safe
and that
haven.
wasn't
So
long ago,
yeah.
at all.
So
So I guess my next question is, how did your experience with Christianity and the church kind of change, or shame? How did it
mhm.
change or shame how you view the world?
You said how's it
How,
shaped or changed?
how did it shame and
Oh,
or change?
shame.
Yeah,
Shame. Okay.
how did it shame and or change the way that you view the world? Because as Black queer folks growing up with Christianity, it's kind of a different experience.
hmm Well, I think for me, because I was still finding out myself, my identity, who I was, I saw the church and I saw Christianity as something that was for good, but I didn't understand why there was so much negativity attached to it. Excuse me.
Mm.
And I didn't understand why it felt like the Bible was always trying to shame, especially Black people, shame us and, shame queerness and things like that. And it was like, but how many things have been done in the name of Christianity? And so, when go and, grow up and you start really doing your own research, learning your own self, you start to realize like, if God is this all loving person who doesn't make mistakes, is the ultimate creator, how did I become this way? How am I the person I am? That doesn't seem right. And for me, I knew I had just decided that I have to look at Christianity as something that was a tool that was used to control. And even though I do still believe in some of the principles of the Bible, like the Ten Commandments, I don't agree with how it's been used in our society and just throughout history.
In general.
So,
Okay, cool,
yeah,
cool, cool. Sounds pretty universal
yeah.
for us.
My last question. Also, how old are you, by the way, Malcolm?
I'm going to be 29 next month.
Okay, period.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna say you 24. I really thought you were gonna be like 24, sorry. Okay.
I'm trying to be 30. I'm
You're
ready for
so old.
30.
Are you? Listen, I'm trying to dial 30, child. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm ready for 30. I'm over the 20s. Like the fun part of the 20s has ended for me. So it's like, okay, let's just get the 30s now. So I'm ready for it.
The question I have is, what would you tell your younger self?
Oh, I think about this all the time. Always have confidence in yourself. Always have confidence in yourself, because I remember back when I was younger, I would always second think myself. I would always second guess everything I would always do. And I really had to sit and think. I'm like, I was always that person that everybody wanted to be friends with, even though I wasn't popular. I wasn't that person. I wasn't that guy. My own personality and who I was just how I presented myself as my true self, people gravitated to. So I always felt, why did I ever doubt myself so much? And so that would probably be one of the biggest things for sure. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, and then this is our last question before we get into these topics, y'all. So what is the thing that you love about being Black and queer? And then what is the thing that you love about just being you?
The thing I love about being Black and queer, I said clear, is we create beauty and creativity, and it's permeated throughout America, throughout the world, and it's something that has always been a part of our culture, even though they act like it's not. They try to hide it, they try to whatever. And the thing I love just, about myself, just how far I've come, because we were just talking earlier about our locks and stuff. And back in my day, I used to have a little perm. So I had to do some self-growth of every little thing that I did not like about myself. And I had to switch it and make it something that I love so much about myself. And so just how far I've come from when I was younger to now is like, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, listen. No, for real. And there's a lot of Black queer people who are going to be watching this, and I want them to know that, listen, this is not linear.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This is not a linear journey, and
Yep.
there's so much deconstruction, and that's why I really want to continue to do interviews like this, just so we can continue to see all of these different perspectives from Black queer folks, and hopefully you will come back. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So now, oh child, let's get into the mess.
There we go.
every time we see the topics, we're like, girl, here we go.
I'm tired. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So the first thing, please, Aaron, take it away, because my God.
Billionaires, y'all, I don't give a fuck how y'all feel about this. Billionaires are not people. Oh my God, they're still people. No, they're not. And they constantly prove every day how bored they are. And constantly prove that when you have all this money and power and all of white supremacy behind your back, they really think that they're invincible. And it came and bit them in the ass. I'm not going to give a fuck about a group of people who are constantly exploiting families and put in world hunger, child hunger, if they wanted to. That's just not me. Because I've been seeing a lot of people say, oh my God, that's somebody's family. And so are these people that you are exploiting. They have been allowed to feed as well. I don't understand. And it'd be like people living paycheck to paycheck defending these billionaires. It just doesn't make sense to me. But 5 billionaires, or I think one of them was a 19-year-old. Was billionaires. They took a Red Bull can into the ocean and thought it was going to save them, and said, "Oh, girl, we found a joystick. This will guide us to the thing," and it just didn't do what it was supposed to do. That's
didn't do it.
Oh, so there has been a lot of discourse about this particular story, which has taken over the airwaves, which I thought was very, very interesting. This is a man, the CEO of the CEO who was also down there, who got crushed in that Red Bull can. Apparently, he decided that he was going to fire one of his workers about 1 or 2 years ago, who said, for this specific thing, you cannot go 12,000 feet under the ocean with it. You'll die. So, you know what smart billionaires do? They fired him so they could continue doing what they wanted to do.
Yep.
So my whole thing is, whenever I hear the whole discourse about, I can't believe you guys don't have a heart, like billionaires, they pump blood through their body, through their arteries, just the same as you do. And I don't feel like you're being a person. I just want to say, go fuck yourself. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because these same people who became, remember, you don't become a billionaire without stepping on somebody else. That's not how capitalism works. And what my whole thing that I really want to get across, we need to stop equating money with intelligence. I need y'all to stop saying niggas with
or
money,
moral or standards.
they gotta be smart. So, because they got money and they're obviously smarter than me. I'm a Corey. What will I do? So I really need people to stop doing that. But Malcolm, when you heard this story, take us through your experience with this particular story.
So me and my parents were just fussing about this last night. And it was kind of just like, it reminds me of when Queen Elizabeth died and they wanted us to be sympathizing about her death. Like, I get it. Like, you went out there, you wanted to do what you wanted to do. You were warned. People were telling you. You got bored, pretty much, essentially. And it happened. I'm not going to say that wish death upon you, but you did what you had to do and you got. And, kind of a side note, I was on TikTok today. Someone was saying that it's interesting that these billionaires pretty much unalived themselves for $250,000, whatever how much it was, and our ancestors did that shit for free. So, okay, sweetie, if you want to go down there and go see shipwreckage that's been down there since forever, you go do what you want to do. That's on you. So, more power to you. So, I honestly think it's suspicious, though. It's a little suspicious, but whatever.
I mean, I see a lot of people say it is suspicious, but I feel like it's because they feel like, who would be this stupid? That's why they're saying this is what's really going on. That's insanity. But really, they're just that dumb. I hate to tell you. I feel like they're just that stupid. I feel like they are just that low functioning and they are just that entitled. They're thinking to themselves, who are you to tell me I can't do something? I'm a billionaire. So they let the ocean tell them. They let the ancestors that they ancestors left behind tell them. I'm sorry. All of the Black mermaids said these niggas not coming back up to the surface. That's what I think. You upset about Gabriel? I bet you are.
$250,000
a piece.
A piece, and the fact that it's still people that won't even make that in their lifetime. To be honest, so it's like,
they did that for shits and giggles.
It's like, oh, here you go. Yeah,
I think it's a good time. Isn't it a good time? Oh my God. So I just need people to stop.
We want to go see the real Little Mermaid. That's what they were thinking.
Want the real Titanic experience. Oh, you didn't even get to float on the door like Jack. You didn't get a chance. Let me stop. Anyway, I just want to say, Black TikTok and Black Twitter, you are so undefeated. I need, to the point where I'm looking at stuff like, why are we like this? I saw pieces from SpongeBob, like little clips and shit, like they finally found the Krabby Patty formula. I'm like, you niggas is so wrong.
Not the Krabby Patty formula.
But then people are so upset because we're finding levity within the situation. And the fact of the matter is, you've got people going through their own personal apocalypses that billionaires could not give two fucks about. They walk by poor people as if it's dirty carpet. Let's stop pretending that I'm supposed to give someone way more sympathy than they would ever give me. My heart could be on fire and they would not take the time to piss it out. So I'm sorry. I'm between me and you and whoever else is watching. I really think that it's people just sucking on the dick of capitalism all over again. Oh my God, not the rich people. The rich people can't fix their problem with money. Maybe not should. I don't know.
It is what it is.
Who told you to do that? But anyway, child.
Awesome prayers.
Listen. What did Queen Charlotte say? Sorrows, prayers.
Sorrows.
What we got? That's all I got for you. I'm sorry. Oh, and for this next one, I'm gonna let Aaron take it away because you put this on the doc, and I feel like we've been seeing this a lot. Like I feel like it's almost like an epidemic on its own of straight people thinking that cis is a slur.
Yeah, once again, a group of people that already have power want to feel oppressed. Um, so Elon Musk shared
Elon
a
Musk.
tweet in response to James, a writer and author known for spreading his transphobic ideologies in various news media outlets. Esses claimed he was being harassed, quote unquote, by trans people after reportedly being called cisgender. Elon Musk responded, quote, repeated targeted harassment against any account will cause the harassing accounts to receive at minimum temporary suspensions. The word cis or cisgender are considered slurs on this platform. It's important to note that a cisgender person has it's fucking crazy. Meanwhile, we still got white folks saying nigger and straight people saying faggot on Twitter like it's nothing.
Well, and even when Elon Musk got in there, people were just saying the N-word left and right, but you had nothing to say?
Exactly.
It was free speech then. It was just free speech. Like, listen, you should be able to call me the negress of the South without it being an issue. You know what I mean? You want to be able to say literally whatever. And I'm gonna give it to you, Malcolm, because I know you've been hearing this whole "cis is a slur" thing. What has been your take on it?
Honestly, the people I'm around, it doesn't bother them. So it hasn't been a big thing, but I'm also like, we're kind of on the same page, so we don't have a lot of these same conversations a lot because we're kind of already on the same page. But I heard other podcast people saying like, don't call me cis, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking, okay, what's the big deal? And so in my experience, I haven't had too many problems of me using that, but it's also kind of like, get over it. So
it's crazy how they call us the snowflakes. But then you get upset when you call us a nigger and like, oh God, the blackies are mad.
yeah.
But then we call you a word that's a biological term to describe that you're. I'm always confused. I'm so confused.
It's an inclusive term. It's literally just an inclusive term. Tall woman, short woman, black woman, trans woman, cis women. But once again, they've always had the privilege of just being person. So when you put the term cis in front of it, it makes them feel othered because y'all are supposed to be the freaks, not us. Dare you put the paper in front of us? That's why it makes them so mad. They don't realize that they are just speaking out their ass and showing the privilege jumping out once again.
Oh yeah.
Where it's like it's supposed to be something that we're just supposed to take, that we're just supposed to swallow. And then it's really one of those situations where if we really take it to brass bones, you can dish it, but you can't take it. And what you're and also these two situations are very unequal. We're not insulting you, you're just deciding to take this as an insult. And I have said it so many times. When you are so used to being in the center, inclusivity feels like oppression.
Oh yeah.
You're just like, oh, I can't deal with this.
But people are out here so bad wanting to feel oppressed so bad. I'm thinking, can you sit down? You really want this? You want this? You can have it. At the end of the day, I don't want this. You can have it. If you want to feel that way so bad about a term, but you want to call people fat, it's the N-word, all these, this, that, and the third. Calm yourself down. Calm yourself down.
Listen,
like the same people that are bitching about being called cis are the same people who were mad back in the day about being called heterosexual. Don't call me heterosexual. I'm straight. It's a scientific term.
like, how are you mad at biology? Y'all are weird.
It's just the kind of whole thing about if we do it, it's cool. If you do it, no, it's not cool. When white folks have been racist for just decades on decades. Oh, it was just water under the bridge. There's no racism anymore. But now Black people are racist. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We just can't.
She called me a sour cream cricket. She called me a blank document. She said I was spicy mayo.
They've been trying to
Russian.
they've been trying to coin the term Karen as a racial slur too.
Yep.
Oh
And
yes,
I'm
I
like,
forgot about that. They were like, Karen is the same thing as the N-word. I was just like, I feel like it really
how?
shows you the
How?
level of the two words when you can only say one of them. But go off.
Yeah.
Go
And
off.
it's like, Karen literally is a name. That's a name. Like, what are you fucking talking about?
Which,
Excuse
by the
me.
way, is no different than you was calling us the Shaniquas and the Linglings
Exactly.
and like how long have you been like
Exactly.
coining all of these names? Like, oh, here comes Muhammad. You guys have been doing
Exactly.
this for fucking ever, and you just thought because you were the default for so long, how could somebody say something about the Saltine?
Exactly.
We've been here for so long.
Exactly.
Stop it. Stop it.
Just stop it.
Have several seats, okay? And don't hurt yourself, because I know you ain't got much to sit on, but it's okay. Um,
An
listen,
injectable,
you know
honey.
why you really mad. All right. Now, the next topic, this one I saw because of honestly, because Aaron lives in the godforsaken state that they live in, I'm always looking up stuff and like, are they going to be okay tomorrow? What else are they going to do to try and take away their rights tomorrow? So I'm always looking stuff up. And this story is something I feel like we know very well, but I feel like this kind of gives substantiation to the things that Black people have been saying for since the inception of this country. So the Supreme Court is now proven that Alabama's voter suppression, and hopefully this video will work, Aaron. So let me know. Because the name of the show is called "The Earth Is Ghetto," so it wouldn't be ghetto if there wasn't at least a malfunction or two.
You
So
let
let
me
me
know
know.
about brands. Malcolm, I'm sure you probably used to it. You've heard a couple episodes. We had some technical difficulties.
Sydney's gone. She gotta come back. I'm waiting. We've done this. Okay. Uh, but hopefully technology decide to not be so anti-black to us this evening. We're gonna cross our fingers.
We're going to cross the fingers, pour them out.
Oh Lord.
How more people are not talking about this crazy shit out of Alabama. Okay, I had a coworker send this to me. You know who you are. Thank you. Look at this.
I think I've heard this one.
Supreme Court rules Alabama's congressional maps violate Voting Rights Act. I can explain, but just watch this.
Turn now to the Supreme Court and the surprise decision on voting rights, finding that Alabama's congressional maps are unfair to Black voters. Our senior national correspondent, Terry Moran, is at the Supreme Court this morning. Good morning, Terry.
Good morning, Juju. This was a stunning civil rights victory at the conservative-dominated Supreme Court. Chief Justice John Roberts and conservative Justice Brett Kavanaugh siding with the liberals in a congressional redistricting case that many had feared would end up weakening the Voting Rights Act. Instead, in a 5-4 opinion, the court decided that a congressional redistricting map drawn by the Republican-led Alabama state legislature violated the Voting Rights Act because it drew only one district out of 7 where a majority of voters were Black, when 1 in 4 or more Alabamians are Black. Under this legislature's map, the court found many Black voters were packed into one district, many others cracked or splintered into other districts, diluting their influence in elections. And the Chief Justice, in his opinion for the court, writing that the Voting Rights Act does not permit a state to provide some voters less opportunity to participate in the political process. In a fierce dissent, Justice Clarence Thomas said that the approach that Roberts and the liberals took amounted to the proportional allocation of political power on the basis of race. But Roberts said courts just following the law, the Voting Rights Act. And this decision is just going to have a huge political impact, not just in Alabama, but right across the country. It could tip the balance of power in the House of Representatives after the next election. Guys?
Let's start with the positive. This is a huge win for democracy, like huge win that a conservative voted yes on this, especially with the division in the country right now. But it's because Black votes have been suppressed in the state of Alabama because the Republican government decided to break a section of an act of law to suppress Black votes. Like, I am at a loss for words for the first time in a long time. This is unbelievable. Okay, they're back. If you need more proof that Clay...
Girl, I'm not surprised by that.
Me either. Sounds about white to me.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, how do I say this? It feels like only white people are surprised by stuff like this.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like we have been saying and hearing this shit since we were born. You know what I mean? Like, we don't say, oh, I don't feel like your vote counts, or I don't feel like voting really matters for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
You just want us to vote blue no matter who, when you got the Republicans just being all out racist to us. You got you pandering to us, but really sucking their ass. So what's so
and giving us
symbolism?
Yep.
It's why I think even it was Malcolm X who said that they would rather give us these actual pieces of symbolism than actually pay us for what we've actually gone through. So that's why they'd rather put Harriet Tubman on the $20 bill and then take it back. And be like, we need you to calm down for a little while. I'm sorry about that. And I feel like we end up seeing a lot of stuff like that where we're not surprised, where, hey, it's just Wednesday, and white people are like, in this country that I live in.
This is not the America I know. I'm like, it's all good.
I'm like, really?
It's the America you know. The only way it would not be the America you know is when it's destroyed, but that's another conversation.
Don't get me started.
You know what I'm saying? I
because that orange smog in New York was from the fires in Canada, right? So anyway.
Listen, we're not even going to talk about the general global warming that they're telling us on a regular basis to ignore. Me and Malcolm both live in Colorado, and I don't know if you went through it, but that hailstorm that we had.
It was raining for a long time, and it was hailing bad. And I was like, dang, this is, it's springtime, but,
It's June. Why is there ice piled up in front of my door?
And it looks like snow.
And it looked like snow. And wasn't it last year that I think it was again in June where we had like a heat wave and a snowstorm in the same week?
I wasn't here last June, but
I was just I wish I was where you were. You was probably in Colombia. I wish I was where you were because the fuck.
No, I was burning up in Arizona.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. You were like, no, the global warming still got to me, child. We were just burning. It was different. we had to do a 30-degree burns in concrete, frying eggs on the sidewalk and shit. Listen, I'm from Florida. I know it well. Now for the next topic, let's talk about the Juneteenth backlash this year, or blacklash, but whatever. But the issue that I was seeing with Juneteenth is, well, first of all, Candace Owens decided to go ahead and put up a post that said Juneteenth is still a made-up holiday and like it's ghetto, and then just like sign out my little piece of racism, like deuces, and just so y'all bitches can go to sleep, and then I'm seeing this obviously being parroted by a lot of her white viewership, a lot of her Black viewership, and it's like I feel like us as Black queer people, we know what Juneteenth is. As Black people in general, we know what Juneteenth is. And for any viewers who is from around the world that don't know what Juneteenth is the holiday where they actually told us we were free. See, the emancipation of slavery was signed in 1 month in 1865, but they finally told the slaves they were free in another month in 1865.
Just by the way.
Damn, I guess we gotta tell her. My God. She looks so happy, but no. So so I feel like it's really important that people understand where Juneteenth comes from, and this is why why being Black American is so specifically such a rich and amazing history that people all around the world who are Black acknowledge Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
Across the diaspora, they acknowledge Juneteenth. That's how important that it is. So I found it really, really interesting that, of course, we're seeing all these white people like, I don't understand. I don't see what the big deal is. And then the one thing I wanted to talk about was all of these companies who really love to pander. I believe there was a Juneteenth watermelon Walmart salad that they were selling.
That happens every year, and it's just so typical. It's either Black History Month comes around and a child or a teacher or a student is racist to a Black child, or here comes the Black holiday and they're doing, oh, watermelon and chicken on the menu, and it's like, bitch, half of us are vegans, half of us, like, okay, bitch, okay. And it's just like, I in my opinion, I just take it as this isn't really a holiday for them and for everybody else, it's for us. And just like the folks back in Texas who have been celebrating this shit forever, it's just, this is something for Black people who are descendants here, not for everybody else. But everybody, I think
I shouldn't pay reparations for what my people did. I'm not responsible for
exactly
what the Blacks went through. So that's just
but we've been able to economically ride the wave of that same slavery till this day, right? and many institutions are built on that labor that are still alive and well today. But okay, cool.
I mean, you guys already have affirmative action. I don't understand why you also need this holiday to like celebrate y'all's freedom. Like Barack Obama was president. Like obviously y'all are free. You've been free for a long time. And I even had like a maid, we used to call her Mamie Carter. So Mamie, she was our maid for a really long time, and we paid her like weekly, at least 17 cents an hour. She loved it. So that's real freedom.
Well, even sorry,
not 17 cents an hour, girl.
I can't stand you, bitch. You probably don't drink water and your pussy tastes like house tea. Like I wish everything evil on you. I wish everything evil on you. I want you to know it. But have you heard about the like a lot of the backlash from white folks about Juneteenth? Because I've been seeing it on the Clock app quite often, unfortunately, trying to figure out what algorithm I left.
Well, I haven't been paying attention to that, to them, to people who aren't like my friends already. I just haven't been paying attention because it's like your opinion doesn't matter to me. Your thoughts don't matter. And it's just like what we were saying, because you're not on the forefront now. And now everyone isn't thinking about you and not caring about what you're doing. Now you have to focus on what we're doing because we're celebrating something. We're actually being happy. We're joyful. Wow. Black people be happy? That's crazy. That's it's so
like, it's like, how dare you? How dare you? Like, we gave you your fucking president and we gave you we took Jim Crow away even though it was coming back. Why can't y'all be grateful?
Well, and it's the same thing with that what is that not the bill, the thing with the I can't even remember the name, affirmative action. Yeah, they're trying to use Asian people to say, oh, I'm not getting into college because of XYZ. No, actually, you're not performing to the standards of their institutions. So none of my Asian friends are complaining about not getting into college. What are you talking about? Like, that's never been.
He was like, I made a 4.79 GPA and all of these other things. And I was told that more than likely a Black person took my spot. So I'm super mad about it. And I was just like, this is the
TikTok? And didn't white women benefit more from affirmative action?
They do. They do to this day. Affirmative action literally affects white women the most. They benefit the most from affirmative action. So it's just like lies and false world. They still think that we're the most, we are the people that are the most on welfare, even though we're only 12% of the country. How do you figure?
Yeah. And the math isn't mathing. The math isn't mathing. So
sorry about
so
that. And I can't just be like, oh, 2 + 2 = 5 just because we carried a 1 together. That's not
right.
how math works. Okay, I'm sorry, my love.
They still want
Oh
to
my
use the
goodness.
old ass tropes. And it's just like, get some new material, sweetie. Like
It's really sad.
they
It's the
don't hit like
saddest,
they
slowest, most like laziest reads.
it's just like they don't hit like they used to, honey. We're not affected by that. We're not affected. Sorry. This
Same
is a whole
jokes
new
for like
generation.
400 years. Oh.
It's just it's like with the watermelon and chicken, it's just like, honey, that's old. That's old.
It was like the other day, somebody called me a porch monkey, and I'm like, that is some 1870s racism. That is some 1870s racism. I need y'all to bring it into today. Y'all can't bring it into today. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're just jealous because we're like super clever, and all they can come up
I,
with is nigga. I think
I
that's
guess,
really what it is. They're like,
I guess. Because that's like always
come
the
with your
default too.
like, dude, come on.
It's always the default. I can cuss you out and I can curse you out and I can call you out without being racist towards you, calling you some sort of racial slur. I can do that without ever going to the default of, oh, I just want to be a racist.
Like,
Easy to do. Be
like,
clever. Have some wits about you. That's it.
Lazy.
And
It's
then
just lazy.
what gets me is, well, you pushed me to that limit. It's almost like if you wasn't racist to begin with, you wouldn't have had to have an impulsive reaction to call me a nigger.
That right there. That right there. That right there.
Interesting.
So come on now.
Like, let's do this together. You feel me? All right. So this one I'm actually don't think that I'm going to have Aaron play the video on, because I really think that this one should just be just a regular conversation. Ooh, and this one, how do I even start this? So DC Youngfly is a up and coming a talented comedian that is on Wildin' Out. I don't know why he's still signed to Nick Cannon, but it's okay, baby. I get it. I get it. That nigga gave you a chance. Other niggas wasn't giving you a chance. You're gonna hold on with both hands. I'm not gonna tell you. But it's okay. And DC Youngfly was on a podcast a little while ago where they were just ripping apart women's body. Like, have you ever seen a woman with like all the stretch marks on her stomach because she just lay on it when she go to sleep? Like, nigga, what do you lay on when you go to bed? Like, when you sleep on your
Some of y'all sleep on the floor in an inflated mattress. So, you know, even even when I was broke, I still had a damn bed frame and a mattress and a firm mattress. So I don't know what some of y'all are doing. Get your priorities in order, first of all.
People on the air mattress with crispy socks laying around their room.
Standing up on their own
empty water bottle. And then invite you over and then expect to want to have sex with you right there.
You're just like, you don't want to sleep on my air mattress? I got
no, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't.
And I think it was really sad because just recently his baby mother died from a brain aneurysm after a BBL.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like, first of all, whoever decided to post this podcast after she died, you ain't shit. Like, my God. It's like, we get it, because we all know that DC Youngfly, you know, they got their issues, you know, whenever it comes to colorism, with the way they make jokes on their thing and all kind of stuff like that. So, of course, his light-skinned, beautiful wife, who still felt like she was not enough, to the point where she went to go get a BBL. And then we got videos of you talking about women's bodies. And that's how she died.
It's unfortunate.
Has it ever come across to you, like, I wonder if niggas ever wonder, does it ever come across them the root issue as to why women feel the need to have to get a BBL in the first place? If you're constantly living your life, being constantly told that you ugly and you fat and you do this, do all these things, and your body's not looking right, Why do you think they're getting a BBL? They can never go to the root issue as to why the BBL is getting had in the first place.
Yeah. I think it just goes back to not doing that deconstruction with themselves. Not doing that self-reflection of who you are and, you know, really knowing and understanding yourself. Because, I mean, I never understood why, but, you know, some people just aren't going to make it. So.
And I just felt like it was so sad because it's like, as a woman who has struggled with their body, their image, things like that, I'm blessed to, and this is a privilege to have been in therapy for a lot of people. It is a privilege to have been able to do a lot of the things I've been able to do for myself in order for me to feel better about me. But when you see things like this, it's like, it's very hard for me to look at other women who are getting BBLs and be like, why would you do that to yourself? The reasons are everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think people understand. And yes, absolutely work out, all that good stuff. But like, we're not working out to have healthier bodies. We're working out to look a certain way. And I'm telling you, having that kind of focused rhetoric on your body that you are telling yourself every day is not healthy. It's not healthy.
Yep.
And I feel like we're in a space where we are in the era of BBLs. And obviously, you know, we like to take it lightly, you know, because the thighs don't match. Like we see the things, we see all of the memes, so on and so forth. I don't feel like we are getting to the root, like Aaron said, of why we are doing these things to begin with. And it's one of the reasons, and this is the thing, I don't think that all surgery is bad. I want to make that very clear. I don't think all cosmetic surgery is bad. Trans women get all kinds of cosmetic surgery to feel like they are who they are. Women get surgery to go ahead and try and feel better about themselves. But I feel like we, just like Malcolm said, we have to start dissecting why. Like, what is the reason why? Like, even, and this is not any kind of criticism, but even for a lot of trans women who go through their feminization surgery and they are dark-skinned Black women, a lot of times when they get that nose real straight where it looks like you can either really breathe or can't breathe enough. Like, I feel like we gotta like, why is that a part of your feminization surgery?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? And again, this is not to say that anybody should not be getting certain things, but I feel like, just like we always tell people to dissect what they're attracted to. If you're only attracted to super masked men, I feel like you should dissect that. If you find being feminine just disgusting, I feel like you need to dissect it. If the last 10 people you have been with have all been white, I think you need to dissect that. Like, so, and this is just one of those things where it's like, I really want us to have be open about having the conversations, you know, which is why, you know, I would be like, damn, Nicki Minaj, just say you got the ass shot. People, just be honest about what you got, because you have people with these ridiculous expectations of what they're supposed to get from working out, because you pretend that all you did was work out. And Khloe Kardashian, it's a lie. They took out your ribs. We saw it. What's going on?
Yeah.
Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Boobs sag. That's what happened. Like, I don't know what to tell you, baby. like it would be. And by the way, if it would be strange underneath your collarbone like that, it don't look natural, baby.
I don't know. I feel like some people just want to look the clown look. I don't know. Some people just they take their individuality and they just take it to a whole new whole new extreme.
As soon as you said that, I thought about the Claremont twins.
They were so beautiful. They are so beautiful already. And I was like,
so gorgeous.
What else did they need?
Like, they were already like you were already the standard of beauty.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Other than being Black, you were both thin, small, long, like you were already the standard of beauty already. So the fact that they decided to go, this is why partially I feel like this has got like some body dysmorphia that I feel like has got to be involved for people who just keep on going. But I also feel like it's a lot of shame because we shame these people so nasty for doing what they're doing to themselves instead of wondering why they did it. Like, let me tell you something. I used to ride the shit out of him. I'm ashamed to I am ashamed. I'd be like, wait, why she look like a stretch cat? What's going on? I used to say all kinds of fucked up things about Lil Kim. And I can honestly say I am honestly ashamed because not only was that unnecessary, it wasn't my business. But come to find out that the reason she was getting all those facial surgeries is because she was in an abusive relationship and whoever she was with was breaking her face. So she had to continue to get things fixed. And do you see how I was talking out of my ass? Gotta go ahead and have to go pull. I have to go pull this boob to be in these things today. And I got all this shit with that. Just like, okay, girl, this is what we call audacity. This is what we call audacity. And this is why I'm so quick to call myself out because I feel like a lot of us need to do more of that. Because if we were just kinder in general, we wouldn't be in this space. Why do you think she felt the need to bleach and do all these things in the first place? After Biggie did her so wrong, and Biggie was a talented man, but you seen his face? All right.
Yep.
Who are you judging?
And it's always that standard or that how women feel about themselves is always pushed on them. And it's never expected of men to, you know, some women do, they're picky about who they want to date or who they want to marry. But it's like, some of y'all do not look like Prince Charmings out here. Like, you know, some of you could be doing your own self-work and fixing your own diet too. So.
And I think the reason that a lot of cis men have that mindset, like, because we have cis men out here dragging the shit out of like fat women. Meanwhile, the cis men are fat as well. I think that's because once again, men see women as property and something to show off and as social status. So you need to look good at all times because you represent me. So it's like, I think that's where it comes from, unfortunately. And also side note, this is kind of off topic, kind of not. Anti-fatness and anti-blackness go hand in hand. Y'all keep trying to separate this shit. Oh, that's different. Anti-fatness and anti-blackness intertwine. Y'all was just talking about Lizzo a couple days ago. Lizzo don't do nothing. Once again, Lizzo don't do nothing to nobody. Y'all can't help. Y'all need to understand that sometimes you can be born fat, you can do all these things, be a good fatty and eat the right meals, do all these things and still be fat because there are different people with different bodies in this world.
And she don't be messing with nobody.
The most unproblematic bitch. It like
it's so unnecessary, and it's just like, you really don't have your own life, do you? If you're so in shape, then go be in shape and do your own thing. Let people be human beings. Okay.
Thank you. And they just don't want her to do that.
Body.
Wasn't it Aries Spears the other day who was talking about how Lizzo looks like the shit emoji? And I was just like, you know what Aries Spears? Hey, listen, this is the thing. Once you start coming for people, like when I say I be saying the most terrible things. I was just like, oh, I gotta try and censor myself. Because I was just like, you talking with that ring around your neck, look like it hasn't seen a rush rag in 10 years, and you talking about somebody? I see this is why I try to like, ooh, it's so hard. Because there's probably ring neck people who are decent human beings. So I can't just say that.
And speaking of rings, everybody know he got ringworms, so he might want to sit quiet anyway.
You know he's not laying in a whole place. There's a rash somewhere. It's dark and it's bumpy. I'm sorry. But anyway, and it's from a lack of soap, baby. But it was all right. I feel like at this point, I really like what Malcolm said earlier. I wish I had the luxury with this show just to, like I just don't want to pay attention, and it's so hard not to get triggered by these things. It's so difficult because you're just scrolling along and boom, just running into racism real quick. I hate black women. What the fuck just got here? It's like seven
It's like
a.m.
people just want to be hateful. Like that's some of y'all's prerogative, and it's like, all right, do you? You're not gonna affect what I do in my life, so fuck off. At
There
this
you
point.
go. There you go. Oh my goodness. So I just want to say first and foremost, I can't believe we just finished all of our topics. I I can't listen. First of all, go us for a smooth show, guys. Okay. First and foremost, we will never be apart. Okay. So I just want to make sure I put that out there. And Malcolm, I want to thank you so much for being on the show and like
Thank
sharing all
you.
of your opinions and all of like your experiences. And I really hope anybody that's watching, I hope it encourages you to travel. Get your
Hmm.
passport.
Do it.
It is very possible for you to feel
Do it.
like you are accepted and loved in a space where you don't have to feel scared all the fucking time and just bring it on. Malcolm is proof. Okay, child. Just like, please no. Because I'm gonna try to get me and Aaron try to be in Mexico next year so we can also live that life. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. All
Yes,
right. So
thank you so much for coming
Of
on.
course. It's been a pleasure. It's been an honor to be on here, guys.
You are more than welcome to come back for another show, period.
Okay, just text me
absolutely.
about my numbers.
Absolutely. And I will go ahead and let Aaron go ahead and give you all of the information on the podcast because they're so much better at that than I am.
You can listen to all of our podcast episodes. We have about probably 90 episodes now. I think I counted last and it was like close to 90 episodes.
Oh shoot.
So yeah, girl, if you want to listen to all our podcasts, you can listen to it on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple, all of that shit where you can listen to podcasts.
Go
Follow us on
listen.
YouTube. You can follow us on YouTube at Earth is Ghetto. Let's subscribe very much.
Please, we try to get to 1,000 followers so we can start going live on there. I don't want to be a slave to the clock app forever, so help us out. Thank you, please.
And you can follow me on Instagram, Aaron8077. That's AARON8077. And Sid, what's your Instagram?
I am at Witchy Sid Liseli, Liseli, and that is on Instagram. And I think I'm still not your magical Negro on TikTok. So y'all have fun with that good stuff. And just remember that being queer is always going to be African. And we will see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.